Now what I'd like you to do is to come into Adho Mukha Svanasana, but before you start, because I know there's some of you who start way before the demonstration, I want you to have a look and see. Now, we teach this so many times, but there's always a slight difference here and there with the technique. Now, I want you to see that you take your feet together and your knees together. So your legs are together. All right, so when you come up into the action, you are spreading your toes in this way. And then you're going to come forward and you're going to see how much you can lift the back of the thigh. Now you want the back of the thigh to push back really strongly. So you open the back of the creases, the back of the buttock bone. But what you don't want to do is to drop down. So here you are, this is it. You want to see that you go on extending those buttock bones back. So actually your stance becomes a lot wider. Now you've got two legs together, so you really want to use those legs so that they are connecting very, very strongly. And then releasing. All right, so it's your turn now. Take those feet together, take your hands a little bit forward, and then see that you get that action. So you don't want to just fold at the ankle. You want to see that there's a lot more action going on there. So you want to see that the actual back thigh is being affected here. So you've got to press so much into your arms, push so much back, keep the actions, soft inhalation and exhalation. Keep that opening so much. Keep the opening of the buttock, opening of the back leg, keeping all of this nicely. All right, so once you get there, even if the heels aren't down, see if you can give one more extension. All right, and then release in. So anybody struggling with that weight bearing, then of course you can use a chair and still come into the same action. All right, so what we're going to do, I'm going to take myself back to the wall. Now this isn't essential, but it's quite a nice way of working. So I'm going to take myself back to the wall, just move some of my props out the way. All right, now I'm going to lean back onto the wall. If you've got a wall nearby, then that's good. If not, don't, it's not the end of the world, but it just gives me an opportunity, just gives me a little bit of an opportunity to find this groin again, this area here. So you can notice I've got my leg slightly bent. So what I want to do here is to see that I move this inner thigh, try to move it forward towards the front edge of the mat. So I'm getting more of a rotation. I'm going to try and move this area forward so you get more of a rotation. Now when you come over into the action, you want to see that you get more of a lift of the groin. You get more of a lift of the buttock. The buttock needs to lift up. So you're getting an Uttanasana action with this leg. So you've got to pull up very strongly and see how much can you get that rotation of that front thigh. How much can you rotate? Now here's the challenge. You're in this action, trying to work on this rotation. This back leg, the middle of the thigh, has got to push back. Now a lot of people make this mistake. They just push this leg back. Push it back. No, you've got to see that this leg, this inner thigh, lifts up and you push the outer foot bone. And you come into this action and then release in. Well done. All right, okay. So then we turn the feet. All right, so we come to the other side. Now remember, what we're doing is we're trying to get these legs, one's rotating and one is pushing back, but we just don't push back with the knee itself. We've got to see that we push back and out, and then see, can we get rotation of the thigh this way to try to get that moving back of the thigh. You can see that moves back rather than moving back. See the difference? So when you come into this action again, you want to see that this middle thigh area moves towards the front edge of the mat, the front edge of the mat. And then we come into this hinging action, hinging action. I'm going to put my hand onto the brick for the minute. All right, now, you want to see that this front leg buttock lifts up, so you want to use the wall. Now, this leg wants to come with it. He wants to say hi, wants to come towards that area. So now we have to see that we sharpen the action in the back foot very strongly. We get the groin action, and then we see from the inner thigh, imagine there's a seam from the inner thigh. Can you move the seam back to the wall and rotate it? So you get a really strong action, a wrapping action of that back leg. This is a very strong action, detail. So you come into this action, front buttock bone is lifting, and this back leg, so working with me, you can have a look at the video, stop the video, do it again, and then get this rotation. Okay, so you get the idea that this is a really strong leg. Okay, come on then, let's have a go at this, see if we can do it in the room now. So I'm going to do it in the middle of the room. Now, stand in a Tadasana, so come and join me now. You can always replay and get the action again and repeat it several times. That's the way that you really get the understanding, when you repeat instructions. So when you come into this action, just watch for a moment. I'm turning that back leg in, turning the whole of the front leg and foot out. Now I want to see that it's like I'm to the wall. I've got to see that I'm getting this rotation coming over into Trikonasana, being there, getting that turning. I'm going to take that leg back a little bit, stamp into the back leg, front leg lifted, buttock bone lifted, back leg pushing down, outer foot bone. Now you want to see that you're getting rotation with this back leg, rotation with the back leg. And then see, can you get that connection? Very strong, isn't it? Okay, and then release in. Let's come to the other side. Turn the back leg in, turn the whole of the front leg and foot out. Okay, so don't need this so much at the moment. Now, when we go over into Trikonasana, you want to see front leg, inner thigh comes towards the edge of the mat. Now, you want to see that that buttock lifts up. And then this back leg, stamp into the back outer foot bone. See that you get that action. And then you've got to see this inner groin has got to move back. It's the inner groin that moves back, not the middle thigh. So see how much you can get that action. And then extend the top arm up. So it's a really strong action. Okay, and releasing. Bring those legs together. Okay, so we're going to come for Uttanasana now. So those of you challenged by this, then you can take your legs a little apart. If you can take your legs together, then legs together. You want to see that you can hinge forward. So you're in this position, lifting up, pulling up through the center of the body, and then see, are you able to come into this fold? Taking your hands onto the floor. And then see, can you take your hands flat? Now, if you need to have bricks, don't worry, that's fine. It's all part of the work in progress. Can you take your hands back and down? And eventually taking your head in. So be there for a while. If you're putting your hands onto bricks, that's fine. Whatever you need to do, doesn't matter. It's absolutely fine. Okay, and then releasing. Well done. All right, so we're going to come into your Shishasana. Just have a look at the screen. There is a variation on this. If you're not practicing Shishasana, then just have a look at the screen for a moment and you'll be able to see the option. Today's option is having a few foam pads and a couple of bricks ready. So just keep an eye on the screen and you'll be able to see. All right, so when you come for your Shishasana, if you're going to the wall, this is fine. Taking your head and then we take the legs up into your Shishasana. Now your variation today is going to be taking the leg halfway in Ekapada Asana. So this is when we take the leg down. And you want to see that the groin's working really strongly. So you've got to reach up with that lifted leg as you reach down with the downward leg. So you've got to reach and go down. You see it's a bit slow here. And touch. Okay. So what's really important about this pose is that when you come into it, you want to see that you reach up with the lifted leg and you reach down with the downward leg and you start to understand how much of the groin really does need to be working. So you have to see that you don't let your body take charge and you just bend at the hip. That's the easy way of doing it. So if you're by the wall, then you can take your heel and stretch it up the wall. Otherwise, extending your leg down and gradually, 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 gradually. Take your time with this. Okay, so those of you who are in it, if you've started your Ekapada, then that's absolutely fine. But be sure that you extend the leg slowly and you get that groin action. This is really important that you get that connection and understanding. All right, so if you've done one leg, then do the other leg. And again, reach up with those legs in between and then take the other leg, maybe your left leg this time, and come halfway only. And you can just bend at the belly or bend at the hip and get the action. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a little bit more depth in this action. Look at some of the practice you've been doing today. Very deep, deep practice. All right, Shishasana again. When you're ready, just keep up in a classic Shishasana. As always, there's never enough time to keep you on a timer, but by all means, you stay in that Shishasana a bit longer if you wish to. So what I'd like you to do, those of you who are not pausing the video and you're coming out, come out with control, really nice control. And when you come down, you want to rest your head. Rest your head down. Those of you who are in the alternative to Shishasana, then obviously come out. You probably are out now anyway. So we're coming into this action. I love it. Where we come into a Setubandha action. So I normally sit on my foam pads. You might want to go a little less than this, or some people go a little bit higher, but this suits me. And just sitting onto the foam pads. So you want to sit onto the foam pads and get there. Now to come into it, you want to drop down. You want to drop down. So you want to drop off of the support, so that the support, you can see here, it is supporting my lower back region. So I want that lower back region to be supported. And then extending the legs out, if that is possible, if your back allows you to come into this action. So there's no restrictions there. So just extend those legs away from you. You need to come off of 4, go down to 3, that's fine. And be in this position. So stay in this position. If it's comfortable, if your back's a little bit uncomfortable, then you can take yourself to the wall and have your legs so that they are in line with the wall. This works really, really well. Otherwise, be there for a little bit longer, moving your shoulders inwardly and opening your chest. So you need to puff your chest in this position. And just take a few longer, deeper inhalations and exhalations. Good. Okay, well done. And again, because this is pre-recorded, you can stay in this position for a little bit longer than perhaps the video or my instruction. If it's working really well for you, then stay there, no problem. For the rest of you, lift your pelvis and take the bricks out, the foam pads one by one, or all of them at the same time, and just let that back feel the surface, feel the floor surface, and just let yourself be there for a few moments. You don't want to start doing anything else at this moment in time. Just let the whole of the belly soften, the back muscles soften. Everything needs to be really nice and quiet. Okay, so we're going to get ready for Shavasana now. A blanket if you'd like. And still keeping your knees bent, still keeping the bent knee action. Letting the arms go out to the side. Bring your legs towards one another. Lifting the feet up, and then just letting the legs release. So try to keep the legs together, how we were working in your Adho Mukha Svanasana, those legs together. Keep the legs together. Now before you straighten the legs, as you know, you've got to do a little bit of a lift through the center, the internal muscles, and then bring those heels together. Bring the heels together and let the legs release out to the side. And just let yourself settle. Let the whole of the back body completely release. Just notice how much you're holding, and just all of a sudden let go again. So we hold to try to lift the chest, but you don't need to do that now. You want to see that the muscles in the upper back region are touching the surface of the floor, not pushing away from it, and to see that they are touching. The back of the arms, back of the shoulders touching. Just see that the body starts to melt towards the floor side. Soft, slow inhalation and exhalation. And for those of you who would like to stay in this position a little bit longer, then please do so. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. And namaste.